Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now I'll be able to share my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, Adhika. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Ma'am, please take some photos.
That's
Don't
what I'm
record it.
thinking. Yeah, I'm just thinking if I start sharing the screen. So I will be sharing the screen and I will not know how many teachers are there. I mean, in case I need to take picture, I'll request somebody to take it, Atika.
Yes, yes. Aruna ma'am is there.
Yeah, Arna ma'am is also there and others will also join. I will request them.
Yeah.
Aruna ma'am, can you hear us? Ma'am, I mean, whenever possible, please take some photo, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Teachers, I have shared the pre-test link. I request all of you to kindly take up the test And after that, in 5 minutes, I will start the presentation. Thank you. Teachers, I request all of you to kindly unmute the audio whenever you have a question, or once you're done with the test, please let me know, because I will not be able to see the chat. So I request you to kindly inform me. I request all the teachers to kindly take up the pre-test before I start. Yes, one second, Anam, I will share it again. 1 second, I will share it again for the teachers who have joined now. I have shared it again. I will start the presentation in 2 more minutes time. Yeah, thank you, everyone. I'll just start in 1 more minute's time. I'm sharing the pre-tests link again for teachers who have joined now. I request the teachers to kindly fill in take up the pre-test. Okay, thank you, teachers. I will start the presentation. Good evening, everyone. So today's topic for the presentation is remote teaching strategies. And this PPT is actually prepared by Dr. Shakil. And I am going to give a brief introduction about Dr. Shakil before I move on to the topic. So we are starting the presentation with the term technology and what does technology mean? Technology, the definition given here, according to the words of Bill Gates, technology is not just, is just a tool. In terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them, the teacher is most important. So this is just the beginning. To go deeper into it and to define technology, see, these days we have been too much into technology. And what is technology? Technology is the application of the scientific knowledge to the practical aims of human life. And if you should know how to apply that technology into day-to-day usage, there should be a teacher. There should be a teacher to teach us how to apply that technology. And whatever techniques we know, the teacher should be there to teach us what it is. So moving on to the next slide. This is a brief introduction about Dr. Shakil. Dr. Shakil Ahmed is a passionately curious IT professional who is currently working in the Ministry of Higher Education, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And Sir has prepared this PPT. And you can just, I'll just read. This is about Dr. Shakil, and he is affiliated with the Deanship of eLearning and IT at Jazan University, has a trainer of faculty members of the institution about all the fields of e-learning and IT. He is an experienced official trainer who is involved in repetitious process of the learning management system, that is Blackboard, for the foreign personnel of Jazan University. He is one of the leading e-learning and IT mentor and a seasoned educational consultant having LMS professional training expertise. He strives to enhance the knowledge of people around the world in different fields of IT by providing professional guidance, awareness of different software, constant technical support, organizing different workshops to help the teaching faculty to equip themselves with the latest technology at the time of crisis. He uses his creative intuitive powers to embellish the dynamic intensive training modules to provide effective presentation skills and digital literacy. And on the right side, we have his work experience. So he's also a research scholar and he's a trained professional. This is about Mr. Shakil. And moving on to the presentation, remote teaching strategies and tips. We all know what is remote teaching. Remote teaching is nothing but distance learning. And distance learning, that does not mean that the student is distant from the teacher. The student is distant from the teacher as well as his peers. Students are from different parts of the world and the teacher is from a different part of the world. So teaching can happen through distance learning. So that is remote teaching. And we all are very, very much familiar with this term remote teaching, as we all are doing it right now. And we've been doing it for the past 2 years. And moving on, we have, few more information about remote learning. And remote learning is the process of teaching and learning performed at a distance, as I told you. And rather than having students and teachers coming together in person, remote learning means that students are distanced from their teacher and their peers, not only their teacher and even their classmates. So why? why are we going for remote teaching? What is the necessity? And why we've been teaching students online, and why do we need it? And we all know the main reason is pandemic. It was a state of emergency, and that is why we had to move on to online teaching, and that is the main reason and the only reason. And when we started teaching online, we came across these terms synchronous and asynchronous. And we have the emergency is due to the pandemic, and then we had the asynchronous way of learning and synchronous method of learning. So what do you mean by synchronous and asynchronous? Synchronous is when you attend a class virtually, online classes. And when you attend a class at the same time as your teacher and your classmate, just like how we've been teaching on Blackboard, where at the same time, even we are present as teachers and the students also attended the class at the same time. So that is synchronous method. And what is asynchronous? Synchronous, at times when we were not able to take classes on that particular time, or the students were not available, whether maybe they had internet issues, we were given an opportunity, or an option to record our lectures, and we will upload it on Blackboard, and the student can watch it whenever the student the convenient time according to the student. That is one way of what we did. But here, what actually asynchronous means is, all over the world, how how students have been taking online classes. It allows one to learn on their own schedule. See, you give them a certain time framework. Suppose this course has to be completed within a month, or let it be that course has to be completed within 3 months. So what the teacher will do, the teacher will upload all the materials on the whatever virtual platform is available. And the student, he or she knows that they have to complete their work within 3 months time. That is the schedule. That is the time framework. And the student will enter the class whenever it is convenient for the student, and will finish all the tasks, but will see to it that the course will be completed within 3 months. That is asynchronous. So a teacher and a student need not be present at the same time when the classes. The teacher can upload lectures according to the convenience of the teacher, and the student can watch the video or watch the session according to the convenience of the student. That is synchronous and asynchronous. And moving on to the remote teaching strategies, I would call this prerequisite. Rather than calling it strategies, the apt word as of now would be prerequisite. What is prerequisite for online teaching? These are the 3 points which are really needed before getting into online teaching. When you teach online, there should be clear communication. If you are not clear, your message is not conveyed. So there will be, the communication will not be effective. So the first key point is there should be clear communication with your students. And the second one is, because you are not physically present there, and there is not much of body language present, you need to vary your types of lessons. You need to add in something which is not just chalk and talk method, which we traditionally do. It should be something beyond it, where when you give them a variety, vary your types of lessons. When there are different types of teaching methods and the way you present your lessons, that will attract the students to the class, and that will also make them engage themselves, and will make the session a very interactive one. And the third one is, you should know technology. You should select the right tools for your class. If you don't know which tool you can use to teach a student better, then the class will be a failure. The teaching will be a failure. What is effective communication? When the message is conveyed in the right way, using the right tool. So any virtual platform that you use, we need to be familiar with what tools are present and how we can make use of that right tool. So these are the 3 key points for remote teaching or distance teaching. Now, how to adapt your lesson plans to different types of learners? And as we all know, all the students are not the same. and we need to pace our lessons according to the level of the student. You cannot see, when the teacher is preparing an online lecture or an online session, we need to have an idea about who our students are. Only when we have a proper understanding of who our students are, we cannot prepare lessons. So what we need to do is first understand for whom are we preparing these lessons. So basically it says, if you have to know your students, you have to be interactive. You need to engage them in your sessions. Unless they speak, you will not know what is the standard of the student and how can you communicate effectively to them. So add discussions to increase engagement and comprehension. Comprehension is the understanding capacity of the student. Here, the testing is not for the teacher, but for the student. So here, the teacher is not supposed to exhibit the kind of knowledge that the teacher possesses. It is the kind of knowledge that the student has, and what more can the teacher give the student? That is more important. And when it comes to comprehension, the level of the student varies. So some students may not understand, some students may understand it easily. So we need to have a discussion to increase their engagement and their understanding. And second one, utilize screen recordings to pre-record yourself and your lessons. See, pre-recording our sessions, it sometimes when there is an issue, some glitch, we tend to record our videos earlier and then upload it for the students to watch it. And that can be one of the reasons. But another point given here is we need to make use of that option. Why should we pre-record our videos and upload it before we have a class? See, before the session, when the teacher uploads the video of that particular lesson that the teacher is going to teach that day, the student can watch that video before coming to the class. So when the student watches the video, has an understanding of the topic that will be discussed that day, then that 1 hour or 2 hours of your session can be used for discussion and interactions. Rather than just teaching, when during the class sessions, during the sessions, rather than the teacher teaching, the teacher can make use of that sessions if there is a pre-knowledge which has already been given to the student, and the student can watch the video and make the session more interactive. And finally, the third point is make your lessons interactive and engaging. When will the student interact? Only when there is an opportunity for the student to interact and engage. If the lecture is mere lecture without any discussion, without any space for them to engage in, there'll be no interaction in the class at all. It will be just one-sided. But virtually, the class will be effective if it is interactive and the student is given an opportunity. The opportunity should be created by the teacher. So the questions or the polls or the activities or the discussion should be given by the teacher to the students so that the class can become interactive. And moving on, how to make the class interactive. So the next question will be, okay, now that we need to make the class interactive, well, how can we do it? So here, there are certain applications that are new to teachers, but maybe some teachers are already familiar with these apps. But there are a few teachers this is an eye opener for us to know exactly, there are so many apps available and we need to use all that to make our class very interactive, provided we have that facility in our in our university. Now we have Blackboard and there are few tools which can be made use of. Apart from that, these are general things which we can make use of for when we use Zoom or when we use any other online platform. So how to make virtual class interactive? The first one is WooClap. Teachers, I'm unable to show a video in this presentation now, but later on, please make a note of this WooClap, and later on you can watch a lot of videos on on YouTube. Now I will just explain what WooClap is. See, in Blackboard, we have an option called poll, right? So what do we do? When do we use that poll? When we need to ask the student question like during our class, during the session, when we want to know whether the student has really understood or not. we can make use of that poll, and we can type the question, students, have you understood? I mean, a simple question, I'm just giving you an example. So when you type, student, have you understood this question, the answer can be yes or no. And then you can see how many students have given the answer yes and how many students have given the answer no. And based on that, you can understand the comprehension of the students in your class. So what is WooClap? WooClap is one such interactive electronic platform, and it is used to create polls and questionnaires. You can use WooClap to prepare your polls and questionnaires. And what do the users do? I mean, the students or the users, they answer the questions anonymously through technology devices such as smartphones or laptops. The students can use laptop, or the students can use smartphones, anything. And this particular how do you use it? I don't know whether this tool is there in Blackboard, but we are familiar with Zoom. So what we need to do is, when we go to the Zoom toolbar, we have to select the option apps, and then there, when you select the option apps, we have WooClap there. You need to go and click on WooClap. And in the side panel, you can select present an event. What you need a poll or you need a questionnaire. There you will have that option. You need to select present an event, and then you have to list out the events. And finally, what you need, you can just click on it and present it to your audience. See, the WooClap can be used for voting also. It can be used for various reasons. I'm just speaking in terms of teaching students, but WooClap can be used for other purpose also. Like if you want to know how many of them are interested in something, how many of them are not interested, or whether it is okay for them, they can give an yes or no question, or it is true or false or anything of that sort, where you can give them option and they will vote for you. Okay, is it a male or a female, or this person or that person? It can be used for voting too. So that is about WooClap. And see, you have the representation. I mean, the how it is shown on Google. It is given here. Insert questions, how you insert questions before you begin something, and how to participate. Can you insert WooClap quizzes into presentation? So you have all the details here. And this is about WooClap. And we also have this option how to integrate WooClap in PowerPoint presentations. And you know, this WooClap is free for K2 students. K2 is students from kindergarten to 12th standard. And when we are using Google Slides, in case we are doing it online, when we are using Google Slides, there is an option to integrate WooClap into the PowerPoint presentation. So there are a lot of videos on how to integrate WooClap into PowerPoint presentations when you're using Google Slides. And now moving on to online stopwatch. See, now we are very familiar with our laptop, with our smartphones, and we have the alarm in our smartphones as well as in our laptops. So what do we do? When do we keep an alarm? Only to wake up. I mean, I'm just giving you an example. So what do? You set a time. So when you have to wake up, you set an alarm. But this need not be just for waking up somebody. It can also be to wake up students in the class. They will have a check on their, I mean, the teacher can have a check on their activity. The teacher can set timing for the student to complete whatever task has been given. And the student also, the student will be alert when he knows that there is only 30 minutes for the student to complete an assignment or a work or a task, whatever the teacher has given. So when it is online, the teacher sets an online stopwatch where the teacher will say that the student has 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes, the student will receive an alert message that it is the time is over. So online stopwatch, this is a website. That is a online stopwatch. This is a website which provides an online stopwatch. You can just check in Google. You have Google Timer too. And on the home page, you have your choice of a stopwatch counting up from zero. From zero, the timer starts, or a countdown. See, suppose we have an activity. Sometimes what do? How do we set the timer from 0 to 30 minutes. Sometimes it can start from 30 minutes, and once it comes to 0, the timer is stopped. So it can be either way. And there are few online timers when you're using, when you're on internet, if you want to use when you are teaching the student or when you are presenting something, you can use online stopwatch. And there are a lot of online timer clocks. For example, you have online stopwatch, you have a Google timer, you have timer tat or tomato timer, you have so many. So you can just explore these online. This is about online stopwatch. And then we have this best app, classroom management, that is no hands app. See, in the class, when we have 50 students and we want to ask them question, we will say, okay, this person, can you please answer the question? We can pick up students. But in a class of 50, or like virtually when you're teaching them, you don't know which student to ask. So you want, see, you cannot pick out one student and ask the student question when all the 50 are there and you don't know whom to ask. In that case, the app will do it for you. The teacher need not be worried. The no hands app, they need not put up their hand to show that they are interested in answering. The no hands app, if it's activated, the app will work for itself. Like, you know, what does no hands app do? It is called a random name picker, or otherwise it is called as a digiteacher. It is a random student selector. Randomly, it will select a name from the class list. In a class of 50, no hands app will randomly select a student, and it will help the teacher to ask question to a randomly selected student. It is not necessary that the teacher has to point out. And you know, these classroom management tools, whatever we've discussed, let it be the online timer, or let it be the no hands app, or let it be the WOOC app, how are they useful? These these tools, it helps in keeping the students on task during small groups and activities. And the timers will give students a visual that they can see how much time is remaining for a particular activity. They can now and then check how much time is available for them to finish their activity. So this is about no hands app. Now, moving on to the most common strategies of distance education. Generally, I mean, the teachers are well aware of all these strategies. Just to, just to go through these points once again, we need to adapt our lessons to work online. And we know that how from the traditional method, when there was an emergency and the necessity to move on to online teaching and virtual teaching, how each and every teacher could adapt their lessons to work online. How we've been teaching traditionally, that will not be applicable to teach online. We need to change certain methodology to teach online. So we need to adapt our lessons to work online. And then when it is online class, set clear expectations with students and families. So see, when you are teaching online, on the other side, the student might be sitting with the parent, or might be sitting with the family member or anyone. So set clear expectations. What do you expect of a student in online class? You need to give the instruction clearly before you start the session, whether the student should be sitting alone, or whether you need to have a family member to be seated next to the student, or whether the video should be on, whether the audio should be on, and whether the students should speak during the session. What do you expect out of a student? So you need to have clear cut explanation for all this, so that you will not be confused later on when you start taking classes. So we all have certain restrictions in certain places. So keeping in mind those restrictions, we can have expectations with what kind of class or session you need to have. And third one, you need to build a strong online classroom community. See, unless you have set a clear expectation and the student knows what the teacher expects, there cannot be a strong online classroom. The student should be aware of what the teacher expects and what is expected of a student, so that the classroom can be made effective, and what will be the outcome, whether it is a discussion or an activity, and how much attendance the students require to actually to come out successfully from that particular course. And then connect with parents and keep them involved. See, in what way we can connect with the parents. Here, what it means is, when you are teaching online, even in Blackboard, what do? We upload all the material, let it be the course specification, the course distribution, and everything we upload online, as well as we conduct the quiz online. And the student who is sitting at home should take up the quiz or the exam in front of the parent or in front of the family member. So the parent is also aware of what the student is doing. And anytime the parent can ask their children what they are up to, and they can also see their marks. We upload the marks on Blackboard, and and we can keep the parents informed about their attendance, their marks, and what is expected of the student. And if a certain percentage has not been achieved by the student is debarred from taking up the exam. And if the student has failed the exam, and automatically the marks will reflect. And finally, find and utilize the right ed tech for your needs. So this is back to the tools. As teachers who are teaching online, we need to be familiar with what technology we use. What kind of tool will make our class effective? We need to make use of that tool. If we are not comfortable with using certain tools, then our class cannot be effective. So we also need to check on what technology to use, what kind of tools will help in our classroom. So these are the best tools for remote online teaching. And okay, the first one is screencasting. So what does the term screencasting mean? We have something called, students, suppose I'm a teacher who's got a smartphone or a laptop. What we need to do is, screencasting is a digital video recording of your computer screen, and usually includes audio narration. You can see many YouTube videos where the teacher will be teaching. You can see visually, as it is audio visual. You can see the teacher teaching the lesson. There is a blackboard, the teacher is teaching, as well as there is audio there. You can listen to what the teacher is teaching. And how does the teacher do that? Through the method called screencasting. And what do they do? It is one of the types of interactional videos. Screencasting is also known as screen capture video. The screen that you are displaying to the student is seen. The screen capture video, or it is otherwise called as screen recording. And recently, even we had an e-learning activity last to last semester, when we had to develop you had to develop a course. And when we had to develop a course, we had to record something about the course, and it was made into a video, and then it was shown to the audience. So something similar to screencasting was done. It was screencasting where teachers who teach online on screen tutorials or video lessons, or when slideshare presentation happens, all these are screencasting. And to explain more about screencasting, there is another a term called mirror casting. So there is a difference between screencasting and mirror casting. So what is the difference? Screencasting is similar to mirror casting, except that you cast the content onto another screen display and no longer see it on both devices. Suppose you're using a mobile phone and you want to cast it onto the TV because it's got a bigger screen. When you shift it to your TV screen, you can no longer see it in your mobile screen or your laptop screen. It is shifted to another big screen to make it more effective. And in screencasting, you cannot see, once you have casted it to another bigger screen, you can't see it in your mobile or your laptop. If you cast content from your phone to your TV, you will only see it on your TV. You will not see it on your mobile. And casting them onto your TV will offer a bigger and a better display. But what is mirror casting? Mirror casting is what you can simultaneously see both the same content in both the screens. Let it be your mobile, let it be your laptop. You can also see it in your TV. So this screencasting can be done when you have multiple screens. So that will be effective, so that you can make your class effective by using screencasting. This is one of the tools. And these are certain softwares for screen recording. We did this even using Blackboard. Actually, Blackboard, you had this option of recording the screen and displaying it. So these are few softwares: OBS Studio, Camtasia, Apower Soft Unlimited, Screencast-O-Matic, Ace Thinker, ScreenFlow, Screencastify, and Bandicam. And you have best free video editor, and these are few video editor softwares like Wondershare, Filmora 9, Camtasia Studio, to name a few. And these are presentation softwares. I think we all are very much familiar with Prezi. To make your presentation very effective, you can make use of these. We have Google Slides, we have Canva, we have Ludus, we have Beautiful.ai, we have Prezi, and we all are very familiar with the PowerPoint for Microsoft users. We always go in for PowerPoint, but we can try the other methods also for more effective presentations. And then remote teaching tips. I mean, it's just you need to just think about what we've already discussed. How we segment our lesson when we teach online. Okay, what is lesson segmenting? We have a course, we have a syllabus to be taught for 3 months. How do you segment it? First week, I want to do this. Second week, I need to do this. It's nothing but course distribution. How do you distribute your course for the entire semester? And then be intentional in the beginning, middle, and the end. What is an intention? You intend to complete your lesson. You intend to complete the first unit in the first week. You intend to complete the second unit in the second week. So if you are intentional in the first week, see to it that you're intentional till the end, till you finish your syllabus, because only then you will be able to cover the course distribution accordingly. And then ongoing formative assessment. We have quiz, we have midterm, we have assignment. So we have formative assessment so that you see the progress of the student. And making learning objectives accessible to students. Okay, we all are very familiar with what is the course learning objective, CLO, PLO. Make it available to the students. What is the objective that is what is the outcome? What should be the outcome? Make learning objectives accessible to students. The student should know, end of the semester, I should have a knowledge about this particular information. I should know about this particular course. So the students also should be aware of what they are supposed to get by the end of the semester, what knowledge they should get by the end of the semester. And then adaptable curriculum and instruction. So whenever we give a curriculum to the student, the university gives a curriculum or the teacher gives the curriculum and the teacher instructs, it should be in such a way that which is not possible for the students, which is beyond their understanding. It should be an adaptable curriculum and instruction where the student can fit into. And then when you are teaching online, we need to be authentic, we need to be familiar, we need to be very, very simple. It cannot be made very complicated, and we can be flexible. We need not be very lenient, we need not be very strict. We can be flexible because online teaching is not like traditional method, and there can be certain flexibility in the teaching. So we are once again going to summarize the remote teaching strategies and what we discussed. And to summarize this, I am going back to the 3 points where, as I told you, what are the prerequisites? The 3 points which are prerequisites instead of using the term strategies. And the 3 points are, we need to have clear communication that will be very effective. And then we need to have different types of lessons, because just chalk and talk method in the class will be boring. Similarly, just one side talk in virtual class will be very boring and will not allow the student to be interactive. So we need to have different types of lessons. And finally, because we are using technology, we should know what tool to use. Unless we use the right tool, the class will not be effective. So this is to wind up with the presentation. And this is about remote teaching strategies and tips. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I will share a few links. Kindly, please take up the post test, fill in the attendance link, and also please fill in the evaluation link. Thank you, everyone. Teachers, if you have any question. I will just share the post-test link. Oh, I think the post-test is already shared. Oh, yeah, Atika, I think Atika has already shared it. Yes, thank you, Atika. Teachers, please see, you have the link for the attendance, and we have the evaluation link as well as the post-test link. Request all the teachers to take up the test. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Atika. Thank you. Thank you, Rubina ma'am. Thank you for attending. Thank you, Rehma. Thank you, Sulafa ma'am. Thank you, Saida ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nida. Thank you, Amtul ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fatima ma'am. Thank you, Habab ma'am. Thank you so much. Aruna ma'am, thank you so much. Safinaz ma'am, thank you. Humaira ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nida. Thank you so much, Marwa. Thank you, Saida ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Abir. Thank you, Ainam. Teachers, if every one of you has filled in the links, you can leave and I will exit. If anyone is still filling in the links, please inform. Saima ma'am, Rubina ma'am, Dr. Abir, have you completed it? Can I end the session?